we have got a hot, fresh, crispy
Come on.
SuperFlex rookie mock draft.
That's right.
Obviously, the Senior Bowl is had and done, and we are heading on to now waiting for the Combine. But we've got an updated mock draft here from Walter Football. This is Charlie Campbell's 3-round mock draft that was released on February 5th.
That's correct.
We are using 4 landing spots. This is the reality. This is the world we are living in today, obviously, for this exercise and seeing how it would impact Dynasty. So, SuperFlex, non-tight end premium, PPR league. You've got the 101, Badaki. What are you doing at the 101 here?
Let's not waste too much time here. Caleb Williams is going to the Chicago Bears. I think that's exactly what everyone is expecting. That's exactly what you want. DJ Moore and more, right? Going on to this team, you expect them to get another pick with the 8th round or the 8th pick in the NFL draft as well. But yes, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore. It should be a good setup here for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, steps into a franchise that already has a lot built around him and building even more. We'll see what happens with Caleb. Where do you think he ends up? If you had to call it right now, where's Caleb Williams playing in 2024?
It has to be, in my opinion, the Bears. The Bears are your Washington Commanders.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think those are the two outcomes potentially. But, I mean, let's see. Last year, the Bears traded down, yeah, to a team that was right around where the Falcons are this year. So I'm just saying, who knows? Anything's possible. But
I know.
All right, Caleb Williams off the board, and I think that is you and I's. That's terrible English, but that is our consensus 101.
Right.
But I actually believe, from what I've seen in the community, Marvin Harrison Jr. is their consensus 101 at this point, and I can't really fault anyone for that. We get questions a lot where people are like, "Hey, is it bad if I take Marvin 1?" We're like, no, it's not bad. It's not some sort of inferior talent to Caleb Williams. Just a super flex league. Caleb kind of gets that bump, and there's a little bit of name fatigue with Caleb and a couple other names here. So I don't think there's necessarily a wrong pick at 1 or 2, but I'll take Marvin here. He links up with Kyler Murray in Arizona, and we have seen Kyler Murray link up with the big, alpha wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins before. That turned out pretty freaking well. So I'll take him there at the 102, and you're up at the 103.
A 103 here. Let's keep it simple. Your Washington Commanders take their future quarterback in Drake May. We've seen the hire of Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury here, the two offensive and defensive minds coming together, being the offensive coordinator, head coach. So much right should happen here as well, with already great supporting cast in Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and so much more out there as well with Drake May. This should be a recipe for disaster with the Washington Commanders. You should definitely be scared, no matter the quarterback they get, because of the offensive coordinator, the defensive mindset in Dan Quinn. And now you get a franchise quarterback, which is a bit scary here for, I feel like, the first time since RG3. Right, this is the last time.
Just to clarify, when you say recipe for disaster, you're speaking for NFC East teams, not the Commanders.
Yes, not
right?
the Commanders.
You're a Giants fan. Some people might be watching this and being like, "Wait, why?"
No, it's a recipe
for
disaster.
Excited about this?
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster for everyone else in the NFC East.
Sure,
I don't want this to happen, but it's clearly the right way. And like I said, this is the last quarterback you took in the first round. Correct me if I'm wrong. Since RG3.
Well, Dwayne Haskins, rest his soul.
True, Dwayne Haskins. That was short-lived.
But yeah, that didn't work out, obviously. But I don't think he was nowhere near the he got pushed up boards. He was nowhere near the prospect that a Drake May is. And there's been a lot of name fatigue around Drake May, and a lot of people questioning if he really is, worthy of being a, top 3 pick. And I think we're going to see, what we will see is him dominate the Combine. He's going to put on a clinic. And then actually, that guy is very rare. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Right.
I'm at the 104 here, Superflex League. I'll go ahead and take my guy, Jaden Daniels. He goes to the New England Patriots. What I will say is they do get help for him in this draft as far as weaponry goes. We'll talk about that later, but he is the face of this franchise.
Yeah.
New staff. Bill is gone, so you don't have to worry about how they handle offensive weapons or the offense as a whole. Bill is gone. New staff building around this young, electric, dynamic playmaker that I've compared quite often to Robert Griffin III. That was a very exciting player in his rookie season. In fact, I might go out on a limb and say the best rookie season for fantasy ever. I mean,
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but at least in recent memory, because he finished as the quarterback one in 2012 as his rookie season, and he was electric. I think you could see Jaden Daniels do something similar. Now, obviously, they had Deshaun Jackson then, and I think Santana Moss even, if I'm not mistaken. But Jaden Daniels, electric playmaker, I'll take him at the 104.
Okay, here at the 105, let's go with the next wide receiver off the board here. Malik Neighbors going to my beloved New York Football Giants. Now, we may not have the quarterback starting in day one with Daniel Jones. Maybe we'll have Tommy Cutlets. Maybe we'll have Tyrod Taylor. Whoever the case may be, whoever is throwing the ball, he's throwing it to an elite prospect in Malik Neighbors going at the 106 in the NFL draft and at the 105 here in this rookie draft. So this is really exciting. We need an elite wide receiver, someone that can, demand presence, and that's exactly what you can do, especially with the supporting cast of Saquon stays, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt there, and now Malik Neighbors. Should be very interesting outcome here for the Giants.
A lot of people might not like the Giants as a landing spot. For me, a guy like Malik Neighbors is just a superior talent to anything they've seen since OBJ. And in my opinion, he would thrive there.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get so much volume. It's scary. And he fits your offense like a glove. He really is, because he complements Wan'Dale. He complements Waller if he gets healthy. He complements Hyatt, who's more of a solely deep threat.
Right.
So I love the fit there. Non-tight end premium, but a great landing spot. I'll take Brock Bowers at the 106. He goes to the Chargers. I've talked about this a little bit on our live streams, but now with Greg Roman officially becoming the offensive coordinator in Los Angeles for Jim Harbaugh, we have a vast history of Greg Roman heavily utilizing his tight ends. Go back and look at every single job that he's had. You will see a successful fantasy tight end kind of linked to his offense, to his scheme. So I think they're going to try and build around a guy like Brock Bowers in this scenario and make him the number one, and then kind of add other offensive weapons around him as they come. So I'll take Brock Bowers at the 106. Reminds you a little bit of George Kittle, a little bit of Shannon Sharp in the open field. I mean, he is, after the catch, dynamic, electric, the full package. I'm a big fan of his game.
Yeah, completely agree. I love that landing spot there for Brock Bowers. At the 107, this is where it can open up. I think we keep saying this in a lot of our videos. If there's another quarterback outside of the top 3 that goes in the first round, specifically the top 12, top 15, I think this is at the 107 where you can potentially consider that quarterback going to, being taken here in a mock draft. I know there's other values at the wide receiver position out there, but this is a super flex mock. Okay, Bo Nix does go to the Denver Broncos with the 12th pick in the NFL draft here. And I like this landing spot for Bo Nix, okay? You think of, yes, maybe Cortland Sutton is going to be walking away. The same thing with Jerry Jeudy. But we have to understand that he's going with the offensive mind, somebody who's brought up an elite quarterback in the past and has worked with somebody as well in a Drew Brees and Sean Payton, right? Bo Nix going into that mold, understanding that he is going to be linking up with Sean Payton. You as a fantasy owner, understanding that he's going to be linking up with Sean Payton, I think the first year has been a little bit skewed, especially with Russell Wilson, and we've saw the progression with Sean Payton and Russell. Now he's starting with a better mold, a newer mold, a more mobile, bigger. Zach likes to call him the point guard plus. I think he is a really great, I would say above average game manager and someone that can excel his talents to the next level here. So at the 107, I think Bo Nix is a good opportunity for you to take in a Superflex league if he gets the draft capital at the real NFL draft here.
I've said this before, like you mentioned, point guard plus. If a team is built around him, I believe he can take you far.
Mm-hmm.
And I've compared him to Brock Purdy before. I think, you'll see a copycat league, not the most electric arm talent, not these all plays, but runs an offense extremely efficiently, is an incredible leader, can make, pre-snap adjustments. So I think that sounds like a perfect fit with Sean Payton, who, let's be honest, are they going to start Jarrett Stidham? And
exactly.
Here's the thing, Badaki. You and I consistently keep seeing people comment on our videos saying Bo Nix is a bust. He's already a bust.
Already.
And no disrespect to the people who are saying that, but can we call anyone a bust before they even play a snap in the NFL? We haven't even seen the combine yet, and we're already labeling people busts. I just don't like when people do that. Like, let it breathe for a second.
Yeah.
Like, let these guys like have a chance to even go to their rookie camp. Let them step on the, on the campus. No, campus is the wrong word, but the facilities first.
Yeah.
Let them take a single step before we call them a bust. But more importantly, Badaki, you and I are not suggesting in today's video that Bo Nix is a lock for the first round.
No.
What we are doing is this is the exercise that we are living into. We are stepping into this world, and in this world, for today's exercise, Bo Nix was a first-round pick, and in a Superflex league, people can hate it right now, but if this really happened, Bo Nix would shoot up rookie draft board, so I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, not 100% certain I'd take him over Roma Dunze. I just
fine.
don't know. I'm not
That's
saying
fair.
that's right or wrong. I'm not saying it was a wrong pick or the right move. But I just love me some Roma Dunze, man. I mean, there's a lot of spreadsheet people. And look, there's no wrong way to scout a player. Like, if you have a system, you have a process that you follow, and it's been successful for you, there's no issue with that. However, I think the guys who are, deep into film probably like Roma Dunze a little bit more than the guys who are in, the spreadsheet game.
Yeah.
But Aki and I try and combine those two to the best of our abilities. And I love his game. The one area that he struggled with before last year's season was contested catching. And, oh my God, he was probably the best contested catcher in college football. I know people gave that tag to Keon Coleman at first. Keon Coleman caught 10 of 30 contested catches this year. Like 33% or whatever that is, right?
Right.
Roma Dunze caught 21 of 28 contested catches. 75% on 28 opportunities? That kind of volume is ridiculous. Unheard of efficiency. Incredible route runner. You mix a little bit of Cortland Sutton in his prime with some Chris Olave. You're getting Roma Dunze. So Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore. I mean, it doesn't even scare me that DJ Moore is there because DJ Moore is going to thrive.
Yeah.
So is Roma Dunze because
question.
you've got the Bears, by the way, last year, I know I'm going on here, but last year they were fourth fewest passing attempts per game. Justin Fields limits your offense. So you bring in a guy like Caleb Williams, a whole new world opens up. So I'll take Rome there at the 108.
Yeah, I love it. And, this is, once again, great exercise to see how you guys would pivot if something like this were to happen. Maybe some people don't like the Bears landing spot because, people envision Roman Dunze being the wide receiver 1 on the offense, not the wide receiver 2, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of different ways you can kind of think about it here. At the 109, let's go with Brian Thomas Jr., and he goes to the Dallas Cowboys, my wide receiver 4 coming into this class here. Now, he's going to be a wide receiver 2 behind CeeDee Lamb, of course, but he takes over that Brandon Cooks / Michael Gallup type of role. We saw Brandon Cooks really excel in the second half of the season, find his stride there with Dak Prescott here. But now you get a big body, 6'4", 200-plus pounds, wide receiver that can go up and get those contested catches whenever you need it. I would say 3-4 times Michael Gallup, what we were hoping he would be, right? That's what Brian Thomas is going to be and more. I kind of compared him to an A.J. Brown-esque type of player, more of a Michael Pittman feel as well. I really like the way Michael Pittman moves and how Brian Thomas really translates that into his game as well here. So getting a Michael Pittman-esque type player going to the Dallas Cowboys and Brian Thomas is phenomenal here at the 109.
I love that pick. I think it's a great fit as well. I'm going to make maybe a controversial pick next.
Okay. Controversial.
Because, again, Superflex League.
Okay.
And I don't think there's a better quarterback style and team fit that I like better in the draft, probably. Now, this quarterback goes in the second round, but he's about to play with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. That is Michael Penix Jr.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Penix Jr. I don't think that he is a transcendent talent. I think he has a great arm. Needs to work on his touch a little bit. People keep labeling him like this ridiculously accurate quarterback. I think there is some areas he needs to improve. One of those is his touch throws. But he can throw the ball down the field with the best of them. Like, he has got a great deep ball pass. And you're telling me that the Vikings take him in the second round? And we don't know where Kirk Cousins is, but that's a pretty heavy indication that, hey, at some point, Michael Penix is going to get an opportunity here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a battle in camp from day one. if they bring back Kirk Cousins on a 1-year deal, I know he was playing absolutely incredibly, but they draft Michael Penix. They have a cheap rookie quarterback contract for 4 years. If they see something in this guy, even if they are playing at an even level, this guy will get an opportunity to start very early on. And I don't see a scenario, even when he is named a starter, where his value decreases. So even if you don't like the player, you can sell him at some point. But Superflex format, I know it's a little bit controversial. There's still a wide receiver available in the first round, but I'll take Penix to the Vikings.
Okay. Well, Michael Penix there. Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Penix, but the Vikings is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kirk Cousins in this scenario with Michael Penix being there. But yeah, still a wide receiver in the first round that I do like here, and he does go to the Buffalo Bills, and that is Xavier Legette, somebody that probably took a little bit of hit at the Senior Bowl with his size. He was supposed to be 6'3", 6'4" type of player. He comes in 6'1", still playing with that big body frame though, 223, and I think he still plays at that 6'3" type of level. Right, you see him going up there, getting those contested catches, playing physical off the line of scrimmage and in the second level, and I think that's exactly what I'm excited for. I did compare him to DK Metcalf. I think that was with the 6'3" type of body frame. He may not have the same body frame as DK Metcalf, but he plays with the same physicality, which I still like when I think of Xavier Legette here. Obviously, he is a late breakout, but going to the Buffalo Bills, meaning that he's going to be the wide receiver 2 onside next to Stephon Diggs here, which is exactly what you want. You think of this Gabe Davis role, maybe a little bit more physical, a little bit more fluid as well in his route running. And he's paired up with an elite quarterback here. So I'll take Xavier Legette at the 111.
Yeah, I like the pick. It definitely makes a lot of sense. And first round wide receiver, I could be biting my tongue there by not taking him. Now, I'm up on the clock here.
Let's see where you go.
This draft is fun because there's players in good landing spots. They're just not necessarily like the next ranked player on my list. But we keep talking about how Bryce Young needs a separator. He needs someone who can create space that they can manufacture touches for within that offense.
That is correct.
That's Xavier Worthy. He goes with the first pick in the second round to the Panthers. He links up with Bryce Young. They desperately need a player just like this. This is exactly what they need. Just someone that can create separation, can get open. Now, hopefully, we don't have those concentration drops, because that could be very frustrating for a guy like Bryce Young.
No question.
This is what they need. And, you think about it, between Legette and Worthy, I'm not saying that they're the wrong pick either way, right? But who has the easier pathway to becoming the number one on their team? At this point, Worthy. You could even say that over Brian Thomas, right?
Right.
You could even say that over Rome Odunze. I'm not claiming that he's a superior talent or that he should go ahead of them. I'm just explaining to people why I like this landing spot. So I'll take him there at the 112. Now, before we get to the 201, we got to let you guys know just quickly that we have been working night and day on our 2024 rookie report. It's officially out over on the Flock Fantasy website. We'll show you a little preview. Now, this is from V1. This isn't V2. V2 is already out. This is V1. But you can see an example of what a profile looks like. We dive deep into every position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. You can see all the additions that were added in V2 here for our 2024 rookie report.
That's right.
If you want to dive deep into this class and learn in depth about all these players that not a lot of people are talking about, then go ahead and use our promo code LAND. Become a Mother Flocker member. And when you do that, you'll instantly get access to our 2024 rookie report. V2 and V3 coming out sometime in March. So
it's awesome.
Definitely consider supporting us with the pinned comment below. At the 201, what are you thinking?
At the 201 here, I think this is where I would go a quarterback again. This is where we've seen at all quarterbacks. I would say the top 5 quarterbacks we kind of expected going in the top 50. That's J.J. McCarthy, and he goes to the Las Vegas Raiders here with the 44th pick. That's who I thought you were potentially going to take at the 110.
Sure.
Was not expecting Michael Penix, but hey, I guess the landing spot is definitely very intriguing. But J.J. McCarthy going to the Las Vegas Raiders, as we record this, I think a couple hours ago or the other day, there was a report saying that it's Aiden O'Connell's job to lose, essentially. And if they do draft a quarterback here, he's going to have to compete, and he has to be ready. And I think they can easily draft another quarterback coming into this and coming into the second round for the Las Vegas Raiders, because they've been in this kind of QB limbo, I feel like, for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I know Derek Carr was there for obviously, the whole time, but it was still a bit of a limbo. It's like, okay, we need to move on, right? Aiden O'Connell is still this. He is not the same caliber quarterback, in my opinion, with J.J. McCarthy. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of J.J., but still, a play extender, a guy that can move and utilize his legs, has been in this, quote unquote, elite offense with, Jim Harbaugh over there in Michigan. But now he is with the Los Angeles Chargers. He actually goes into the same division as his old head coach. A storyline I can easily see in the NFL, the way the NFL scripts things here. J.J. McCarthy playing twice a year against his old head coach. This is exactly what I kind of envision here for the Las Vegas Raiders. Plus, you have Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams here. Potentially, Josh Jacobs does stay. J.J. McCarthy should be a decent fit here for the Las Vegas Raiders.
So, still a lot of very good picks available to us. There was no running back that went in the first 2 rounds of this mock draft.
Right.
And let's come clean here for a second, okay? My favorite running back was not included in this 3-round mock by Charlie Campbell of Walter Football. So,
okay.
Badaki and I talked before the episode, and we said, let's get Trey Benson in there somewhere. Let's kind of manufacture him somewhere in the 3rd round. And we put him to the Dallas Cowboys with the 88th pick. Again, in the 3rd round. I'll take Trey Benson here off the board at the 202. I think this fit would be perfect. It's one of the reasons Badaki and I kind of manufactured it, because you think about how Trey Benson, if, big keyword there, if Tony Pollard comes back, you think about how he complements Tony Pollard within this offense. Trey Benson is exactly what they were missing all of last year. They got into the red zone. It felt like they had no confidence in their run game. Well, now you add a big body, 6'1", 223, a guy who can break away for big, massive gains, breakaway percentage over 50% this year, a guy who can smack you in the mouth, who can break tackles, and who is reliable on the goal line. You get a guy like Trey Benson in that offense, that could be absolutely electric.
Right.
And, he could be a very relevant running back from day one in fantasy football. There's a lot of wide receivers I love still on the board. However, I'm thinking about the scarcity of the position. It's going to happen. People are going to take running backs early in the second, depending on where they go.
Yeah, I completely agree here. And I don't know if I want to take that running back right now. I'm going to show love to some of these wide receivers at the 203, and that's Adonai Mitchell. He goes to the
That's exactly who I was thinking about going over Trey, so I get it.
He goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, and he takes over this T. Higgins role. I think if they spend a 2nd-round draft capital, I think you have to understand potentially or envision that T. Higgins is no longer with this team. A 6'4", just nearly 200 pounds, big body, really, secure hands type of wide receiver that is never going to drop the ball. 2.3% in the drop rate when it comes down to that. And someone I compared to being a wide receiver too, and Nico Collins, right? This is a Nico Collins-esque type of player coming in, linking up here with an elite quarterback and Joe Burrow. I think this is a perfect fit for Adonai Mitchell going in, taking over the 90 to or 80 to about 100 targets, T. Higgins was probably getting each year. That's work right there for you. That's a top 25 wide receiver instantly there with Adonai Mitchell going with Joe Burrow. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. And, I know a lot of people comped him to T. Higgins, so it makes sense. He would be a perfect fit in that offense. All right, at the 204, I'm going to take Keon Coleman here.
Okay.
He is the highest drafted player available in this mock draft now offensively. He goes to the New England Patriots. And while I might not be the biggest fan of his game overall, I think there are some clear strengths and weaknesses. What I will say is, who is stopping this guy from getting volume up his ass?
Yeah.
Who's that dude that's like, actually, calm down, you'll develop, and then we'll start targeting you. There's no one on this team that would stop Keon from getting a ridiculous amount of volume. Now, my concern a little bit is I feel like you need someone that you can just get open, bail Jaden Daniels out. I'm not sure how much separation Keon's going to be able to get early in his career. So this may be a QJ situation all over again where the opportunity was there and it just didn't work out. But they didn't really use QJ the right way. Regardless,
Right.
he was the best of it, highest drafted player. There's volume there. So maybe I'm wrong. You and I, there's often times where we don't necessarily like a player the way the community does, but that doesn't mean that we don't take them because, we've been wrong before. It's good to
100%.
kind of spread your seed, around your different leagues.
Be careful.
If you will.
Don't want to spread
Don't
too
spread
much.
your seed.
Not too much.
Spread your portfolio. I'll take Keon at 204.
At the 205, I'm going to take a wide receiver here. Went with I think one of the last picks here in the second round. That's Jermaine Burton. I think this is a perfect landing spot. One of the first things I said when I watched Jermaine Burton's video or tape was that he was physical. He was always going to go to contact. And what do the Baltimore Ravens are known for? Being physical, punch you in the mouth type of offense and defense. And that's exactly what Jermaine Burton can do here. You think of the Rashad Bateman's no longer being on this team, the OBJs. Now you have Zay Flowers, you have Mark Andrews, and Jermaine Burton that's going to be playing out wide, who is a phenomenal route runner here as well. I think he's a very underrated route runner when you look at this here. Coming out of Alabama, so he's been around a decent group of people coming out. I compared him to more of a Victor Cruz-esque type of player. Going in the second round, this is a great landing spot for Jermaine Burton here.
I forgot that you had caught up on scouting with Jermaine Burton because I was just letting him fall.
Letting him fall.
You know that's one of my guys.
Yeah, I love him.
I love him
as
Jermaine.
Well.
He reminds me of a little Adam Thielen.
Mm-hmm.
And, people often ask you, who's this year's Puka? I don't think there's a Puka, but I have a Rashee Rice, in my opinion, and I have a Jaden Reed. Jermaine Burton is my Jaden Reed of this year, if you will. So I love that. I think he fits that offense well. But I'll take my dude Lad McConkey. And, it's not that I don't love Lad McConkey because I have Lad ranked higher in my scouting grades, then Burton, then Coleman, then Adonai, then Benson, then Worthy. However, he lands with the Eagles. We have to be realistic here. As much as I love Lad McConkey, how can we rely on volume there with the likes of A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert? So I'll take him off the board there. I absolutely love that after the Senior Bowl, everyone was in on Lad McConkey because it's kind of what I've been preaching for a long time.
Catch up.
But I don't actually think he's going to go this late. I don't think that, second round to the Eagles that late, I don't think he'll be available. But again, this is the world we're living in. So I got to live within the confines of this world.
Okay, at the 207, there is another wide receiver. And there's a couple wide receivers in the second round, but there's a wide receiver that I really like.
Don't do it.
That went in the third round.
Don't do it.
And he went to the Carolina Panthers, and that is Troy Franklin. Look, he didn't get the draft.
The third round, man, that's what kind of put me off.
I get it.
In this reality, they decided to take Xavier an entire round earlier. That concerned me, but sorry, go ahead. I love this play.
I think what's interesting here is that I have no doubt in my mind that even if you take Xavier and Troy in two separate rounds, they still become fantasy relevant in this offense. Yes, you have Alan Thielen, DJ Chark, if I'm not mistaken, Jonathan Mingo, who hasn't really shown what he can do, but these are separators. These are field stretchers. These are guys with speed that can play the slot and the outside. You get two identical guys, essentially, Xavier Worthy and Troy Franklin. Not identical, but that have similar traits.
They have similarities.
But they can do so much more than what the current cast is doing in the Carolina Panthers offense. And now, yes, the third round is not intriguing. He goes with the 65th pick in the third round. But still, the Carolina Panthers don't get a quarter or their wide receiver in the first round because they don't have a first round pick. But they go back-to-back wide receivers in the second round, and Xavier Worthy, who I love, and Troy Franklin, who I love as well. So I'm going to take this chance here and still believe that, because I believe in Bryce Young. A lot of people have kind of been knocking him already, saying he's a bust. I think there's still hope there for Bryce Young. And if he has two great separators, this could be a world changer, game changer for Bryce Young.
Yeah. CJ Stroud would look better than Bryce Young in Carolina. I think we can all agree at that point. But CJ Stroud would have nowhere near the year that he had in Houston than he would if he went to Carolina. I mean, the situation is.
I mean, he even said it. CJ said, I don't know if you saw the report. He was just like, look, I love Bryce. Not much you can do when people are dropping the ball. And you have no time in the pocket, which is true. They were dropping the ball and he had no time. So
and the ownership is a mess. It's a laughing stock. So let's hope that things work out. They got an exciting offensive mind as a head coach there again. I'm gonna take Jonathan Brooks. The slide stops here. I'll take him at the 208. Why did he fall so far from Trey Benson? Just this spot isn't great.
it's not. It's not. I don't love it.
It's not. It's not a bad spot necessarily, but you have a guy in Rashad White who, wasn't as efficient as other running backs, but was a PPR monster. And we play in PPR format, so difficult to say that Jonathan Brooks will ever supersede Rashad as a receiving threat. I think Brooks is a superior talent, but again, I have more concerns than others about his timeline as far as an injury. I know it was a clean cut. I know the injury wasn't that, as bad as people perceived it to be, but I don't think he's just ready to rock week 1. I mean, I think Rashad White's going to have a role here. You're not going to make him irrelevant. So I'll take him at the 208. This is one of those times where we dream up perfect landing spots, and sometimes that doesn't happen.
No.
So, I'll take Brooks there.
And just to build off that really quick is that Rashad White is still a young player. It's not like Rashad White's an older player and he's going to be out in a year or two.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a 50-50 backfield split here if this is a reality for Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, he's on a rookie deal still, and I think there's 2 years left on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So
when he was selected in the 3rd round in 2022, so still 2 years left on that contract minimum.
Not ideal there. I'll go with another running back at the 209. I'll go Blake Corum here. He does go to the Green Bay Packers in the 3rd round here with the 89th pick. A guy that we both like, and I think he has to go into the right system, and I think this is a decent system that he can go into. First and second down guy, a power back here, a kind of, I think of him as a smaller Dameon Pierce. I like Dameon Pierce coming out of college. We saw how successful he was his first year, but this is a little bit more physical. I think he's a better runner, and has better vision when you compare him to the Dameon Pierce. The whole package, right? I just like this physicality. Yeah. I'm comparing him to 5'8", 213 pounds here, going to the Green Bay Packers with I'm not going to put him in the elite category yet, but Jordan Love has been playing phenomenally in the second half of this season. Let's see if he can continue that in 2024.
At the 210, I'll take slick Ricky Pearsall. What did I say to you the other day on a stream? Ricky ain't getting out of the second, bro.
There it is.
He's not getting out of the second. And in this mock draft, he goes in the 2nd round to the Falcons.
I was waiting.
While I don't love the landing spot, I'll bet on a player that I like and a very enticing draft capital, if you will, in the 2nd round. So good player, good draft capital. Don't like the landing spot, but I'll take him there.
Yeah, I didn't think you'll take him there because I have hope for the Falcons landing spot for any weapon that does go there personally.
Sure.
But okay, you know what? I'll take Jalen Polk. He goes to the Tennessee Titans with the 38th pick in the 2nd round. What's going to happen with Treylon Burks? I'm not necessarily sure, but we both have been saying it's a great complimentary wide receiver too. Coming in, and you think of DeAndre Hopkins probably leaving this team in a year or two, a guy that can excel in the 2nd level, maybe into his career, not right off in year 1, but somebody that I think has good opportunity coming into this team specifically.
I'm gonna surprise you here.
Yes, come on.
This is a player that you and I do not see eye to eye on.
Oh, okay, never mind. It's probably not.
You and I do not see eye to eye on this player. However, when we released V2 of our rookie report, I very clearly highlighted in our blurb the strengths and weaknesses of this player. The strengths of this player is that he has arm talent that maybe, keyword, like maybe 7 quarterbacks in the NFL have. Seriously. Like, the arm talent that he has is ridiculous. It's less than 1% of the world. It is the type of gifts that God gives you and you cannot learn. I'm going to take Spencer Rattler off the board, who went in the 3rd round, but he went to the Rams. And I just feel like this is the perfect spot for him to sit back and develop. SuperFlex League, he's got a mind in Sean McVay that he's going to be able to learn from. And he is also learning from a Super Bowl champion quarterback in Matthew Stafford, the ultimate pro on how to, live your life as a real NFL quarterback. He gets to sit behind Matthew Stafford, watch him for a couple years, and then eventually he can develop into being a better quarterback than what he currently is. Now, Spencer Rattler cannot read a defense to save his life. He does not throw with anticipation. So a lot of actually playing the quarterback position, he needs to work on. But this is a mold of clay that Sean McVay now gets to decide whatever pretty picture he wants to paint out of it. So I'll take Spencer Rattler there.
Okay.
And he's a super enticing name to me. So I'll take him off the board. Now, let's quickly do all snubs list because there are quite a few names that are well worthy of being drafted that were not. Yeah. I was waiting on you to take your guy, Jatavion Sanders.
Yes, I was going to.
He becomes a snub off the board here. Roman Wilson, who went to the Saints. He went to the Saints in the 3rd round. I actually think that landing spot is really nice.
Yes, I think so
he complements Olave well.
Agreed.
We just didn't get to him. Tez Walker went to the Chiefs in the 3rd round. We also had Jaheim Bell go to the Colts in the 3rd round. Johnny Wilson to the Lions in the 3rd round. I'd say that's probably about it for the snubs this week. But all those guys were well worthy. Well, I would say the first 3, Sanders, Wilson, and Walker, were well worthy of going in the top 2 rounds.
Completely agree there.
That's it for today, guys. Do us a massive favor. Smash that like button if you like the content. Consider subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Much love. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, LAND, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.